He was supposed to be Arnold Palmer. That's what one of his former golf buddies told Alan Shipnuck in a devastating new report. Phil Mickelson had the same charisma, the same star power. People loved him everywhere he went. But somewhere along the way, he came to believe his own bullshit. He thought he was bulletproof. And now, the six-time major champion has officially withdrawn from the Open Championship, marking the first time in 17 years he will miss golf's oldest major. The decision, made 2 weeks ago according to The Telegraph, completes a stunning exile from every major championship in 2026. But here's the twist that changes everything. This wasn't just about a family health matter anymore. The timing of his Open withdrawal coincides with the publication of a bombshell investigation by legendary golf writer Alan Shipnuck on Scratch, a publication set up by the PGA Tour and run by the same company behind Netflix's Full Swing series. Shipnuck interviewed 19 sources who described a pattern of alleged inappropriate behavior spanning more than a decade. And the allegations are devastating. Phil Mickelson hasn't competed since LIV Golf South Africa in March. One tournament. That's it. An entire season. The man who once defied age, winning the PGA Championship at 50 years old, now can't even make it to the first tee. His team has cited a private family health matter for his extended absence. But as the weeks turned into months, and the months turned into a complete season of silence, the story started to unravel. He missed the Masters. He skipped the PGA Championship. He was absent from the U.S. Open. And now, the Open Championship is off the table too. The Telegraph reports that Mickelson made the decision to withdraw 2 weeks ago, and it will be the first Open Championship he has missed in 17 years. The last time he skipped the Open was in 2009, when he stepped away to support his wife Amy during her breast cancer treatment. That was a different Phil. A Phil the world could understand. A Phil the world could love. The news of Mickelson's Open absence came just hours after the Scratch report was published. A report that would change everything. Here's where the story takes a devastating turn. The Scratch investigation by Alan Shipnuck revealed allegations so serious they've rocked the entire golf world. The central allegation involves Ashley Perez, the former wife of fellow tour professional Pat Perez. According to the report, during the 2015 Barclays tournament in New Jersey, Mickelson invited the couple to stay with him at his villa at Liberty National Golf Course. While Pat excused himself to use the restroom, leaving Ashley and Mickelson alone on the patio, she claims the six-time major champion took out his phone and showed her a full-body photograph of himself, naked with an erection. Ashley told Shipnuck, "Phil says to me, I'm going to leave my bedroom door open tonight. When Pat falls asleep, I want you to come see me." She declined his advances and didn't immediately tell her husband, saying she hadn't wanted to create a scene mid-tournament. When Perez was eventually told, he confronted Mickelson. The report says Mickelson ultimately apologized during a corporate outing at the Madison Club in La Quinta, California. The allegation became central to Perez's notorious comments on Claude Harmon's podcast in November 2022, when he said, "I have a different hate for Phil than most people. Phil crossed the line with me that is just uncrossable and unforgivable. He knows that he screwed up. He apologized for the action, but I cannot forgive him for it." Ashley Perez says she has a recording of a subsequent 26-minute phone call between Pat and Mickelson. During it, she claims Mickelson alternated between contrition and saying he could not remember the details of the evening. Shipnuck reports he has listened to the recording. When Pat told him he had shown Ashley a naked photo, Mickelson is alleged to have responded, "You mean topless?" Without fully admitting what had happened, Mickelson is said to have told the couple, "I can't tell you how disgusted and embarrassed I am in myself." What makes these allegations so devastating is that they're not isolated. The Scratch report paints the incidents as part of a deeply entrenched pattern of behavior. Mickelson had previously departed two other high-end golf clubs, the Madison Club and the Bridges, also in Rancho Santa Fe, with sources at both saying personal conduct was a primary factor. As Shipnuck wrote, in fact, Mickelson's unceremonious ending at the farms seems to be part of a larger pattern. In recent years, he has had abrupt departures from two other high-end golf clubs, the Madison Club and the Bridges in Rancho Santa Fe. Sources at both clubs say his personal conduct was a primary factor. Earlier this month, Golf Digest reported that Mickelson had been removed as a member of the Farms Golf Club in Rancho Santa Fe, California, following allegations of inappropriate physical contact with a female staff member. According to multiple sources, Mickelson approached the employee in the clubhouse, made non-consensual and inappropriate physical contact with her, and was confronted by club officials mid-round before being told to vacate the premises. A representative confirmed he had resigned from the club. His display of achievements in the clubhouse has since been removed. The Scratch report also detailed another incident where a woman who attended a tournament dinner with Mickelson described an encounter she characterized as deeply disturbing. Out of nowhere, Phil started asking the most inappropriate questions about my personal life and then propositioning me in graphic detail, she told Shipnuck. He went on and on about how he had been fantasizing about me and all the things he wanted to do to me. It was horrible. Ashley Perez described a separate dinner predating the nude photo incident at which she claims Mickelson kept taking conversation somewhere very dark and sexual, making graphic gestures at the table. Mickelson's attorney, Tom Clare, released a statement pushing back against the allegations. Some of the allegations circulating about Mr. Mickelson are false, and others revisit mistakes he has already acknowledged, publicly or privately, the statement read. Stacking the disputed claims next to the ones he has owned does not make them credible. It instead contributes to a false and misleading narrative. Claire added, recovery is not a straight line. Throughout their 35-year relationship, his wife, Amy Mickelson, has supported Mr. Mickelson and their family with extraordinary grace, unwavering love, and the belief that people are measured not only by their failures, but by what they do to make them right. Mr. Mickelson's priority is to become the husband, father, and man his family deserves. Right now, that means giving his full attention to a private family health matter. But the response has done little to quiet the storm. His silence on the open withdrawal, on the allegations, on everything is deafening. The man who once had something to say about everything now has nothing to say at all. The reality of Mickelson's situation is even more grim when you consider his professional future. LIV Golf, the breakaway league he helped define, is facing its own existential crisis. Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is set to pull its financial backing after the 2026 season, and the league's future is uncertain. If LIV collapses, Mickelson faces a brutal reality. Former ESPN host Trey Wingo put it bluntly, I can promise you one person that you'll never see in any way in an official capacity with the PGA Tour is Phil Mickelson. That bridge has been burned, detonated, destroyed, nuked, lasered to death. There is no building that bridge back. Alan Shipnuck echoed this on the Rich Eisen show. If LIV Golf goes away next year, which is increasingly likely, Phil's a man without a country. He has nowhere to play. At least Tiger is welcome wherever he wants to play. So even though Tiger has all these health challenges, I'd probably, in the final analysis, take him as more likely to at least try and soldier through a tournament, whereas Phil just might have nowhere to go. The PGA Tour would require a suspension of at least a year and a massive fine for him to even be considered for a return. Billy Horschel recently said that Lefty might not be back on the PGA Tour no matter what. Despite his being a lifetime member and having done a lot, there are many things Mickelson did and said that have made his path back impossible, Horschel said. There's something deeply sad about this story. One of his former golf buddies told Scratch, "It's a very sad story. He should have been Arnold Palmer. Phil had the same charisma, the same star power. People loved him everywhere he went. My take is that he came to believe his own bullshit. He thought he was bulletproof because his whole life he had always skated on everything. But in the end, he had too many demons. He got consumed by his own darkness." Another friend described his need for constant stimulation. Phil does everything for the dopamine. That's his downfall. Whether it's the way he plays golf, all the gambling, chasing chicks on the road, going to LIV, it's all based on this very deep need to have action at all times. Mark Brooks, a fellow PGA champion, told Shipnuck what would have happened if Mickelson had attended the champions' dinner. If he had walked into that room, the temperature would have dropped about 10 degrees. It would have been a chilly reception. Ashley Perez explained why she spoke on the record. "There is a culture of silence that keeps women from coming forward," she said. "With Phil, you're dealing with an egotistical narcissist. Phil will keep going until he gets caught. If Phil's behavior is ever going to change, he has to understand the trauma he has caused. Phil Mickelson is one of the greatest golfers who ever lived. 6 majors, 45 PGA Tour wins, a legacy that should have placed him alongside the legends of the game. Instead, he finds himself isolated, his reputation in ruins, and his future in professional golf uncertain. He won't play in the Open. He didn't play the Masters. He skipped the PGA Championship. He was absent from the U.S. Open. The 2026 season will be remembered as the year Phil Mickelson vanished from the sport he once dominated. The questions remain. Was the withdrawal his choice, or did the sport finally decide it had had enough? Can he ever rebuild his legacy, or is this the end of the road for one of golf's most polarizing figures? And what does it say about our sports heroes when we learn who they really are behind the smile and the charm? One thing is certain. The man who once had the world at his feet now has nowhere to go. And that's the most tragic story of all.